Okay, so today I'll be showing you how to use Bootstrap toolkit. Now, Bootstrap is the most popular front-end open source toolkit for developing responsive grid systems. So when we talk about responsive grid systems, it means that the website itself will adjust based on the device that is currently using it. So let's say, for example, you have a mobile phone, it will actually adapt to its resolution or its screen size. Now it has a now Bootstrap has an extensive pre-built components and a powerful JavaScript plugins. So the very first thing that we need to do is download Bootstrap. So I already added here or already opened the URL where we can actually download Bootstrap. So all you have to do, by the way, is type getbootstrap.com, which I'll be also adding a link on the description below. Once you've opened it using your favorite browser, you can just click download, then click compile CSS and JS. So you can just click download this one. You can just click download, and a zip file will be downloaded into your computer. Now, there's also another way of trying to use Bootstrap, which is a link, which you try to link it on using CDN via JS Deliver. Now, one of the disadvantage, by the way, if I were to use this one, is that not every time I'm going to be online. So there will be times that I will be working without internet connection, so I won't be able to use Bootstrap. That's why I would rather download compiled CSS and JS. Okay. Now, once your downloading is done, let me try to show you the contents of the zip file. Okay. So we have here, I've already extracted it here, and I've already created the file. We have your CSS and JS. Now, once you unzip this one, it will open to two folders, which is a CSS and one JS. Okay. So if you're to open CSS file, you will have all of these files, CSS files, and if you were to open the JavaScript folder, you will be open to all of this JavaScript folder. Okay. So now what I'll be doing is I've already created an HTML document. Okay, so now let's start to write a little bit of code using your favorite text editor. So you can use Notepad++. In my case, I'll be using Visual Studio Code. Okay. Okay, this one. Okay. Now, I've also already created a template. Now, you have your Bootstrap exercise 01. Then I already linked it here. So I have your link rel style sheet types text /css. Then CSS, this is actually the folder, and I have here bootstrap.css. Now, where can I find this one? So if I were to open the folder, this is actually the file that I'm trying to link. So we have here bootstrap.css, and we also have here bootstrap.css. Now, as for the JavaScript, you have your script language JavaScript source.js /bootstrap.js. This is actually the file or the JavaScript that I'm trying to link. Okay, so this one. Now, we can actually start coding already. So let's try to add div class. Let's try to use container. Container. Then div. Okay. So the very first thing that we are going to do is just try to check if it's working or not. So container. Then we have here border. Now this is just, by adding border, we basically add a border on our container. Okay, so this is just for testing purposes, so that at least you will be able to know if it's working or not. So let's say let's try to put it here, hello world. Okay, next, let's try to open our browser again. Okay, so let me just try to open it here. Okay, you have here hello world. So we have here already hello world. Okay, so as you've noticed, there's a border on our document. Okay, next, let's try to put a little bit of margin on top. Okay, let's try to go back to our Visual Studio Code. my-3. Okay, now usually in Bootstrap, a margin is preceded by m, then y, then a numeric value. Now, m means it's margin, y means it's y-axis, which is the vertical axis, and 3 is 3 rem or 3 rem. That's the unit of measurement that is used in Bootstrap. Okay, so what we did was basically add 3 rem on the top of from the top of our browser to the top of our container. Okay, so let's try to see what's the output. Okay, then reload. Okay, as you've noticed, there's already a gutter in between our div and the top of the browser. Okay, let me try to show you again. Okay, as you've noticed, by the way, there's already a gutter. Okay, from the top of our div, which is this part, and the bottom of our browser. Okay, next. Okay, so let's try to open again our Visual Studio Code. Let's try to add some more code. Okay, let's try to erase hello world. Now, since Bootstrap basically works in a grid system, each grid should be inside a row. So div class equals to row, then div close. Okay, so this is already actually one row. So if I were to put here, let's say for example border, let me just try to remove the border here. Okay, first row. Okay, let's try to go back to our browser. Well, this is already our first row. Notice, by the way, that there's no margin whatsoever. Okay, unlike what we did with our previous before we actually used row. Okay, let's try to do some more coding. Border. Okay. I would normally use this one if I'm going to have a background image, or if we want to have a carousel. But so since this is just basically for testing purposes or for learning purposes, okay, what we can do is we can just try to add border and try to put a little bit of text here. So image goes here. Okay, next let's try to add another row. Div class equals to row. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to add my dash 3. Okay, then I'm going to add another border. Okay, so let's try to create another. Okay, so this time we're going to add a column. So div class column sm, which means small 1. Okay, then div. By the way, in Bootstrap, the maximum column that we can use is only 12. Okay, so let me try to show you. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, now let's go back to our browser to check. Load, because we have here 12 rows, but there's no border in between because we didn't. If we go back to our code, okay, we did not put border on our column. We only added the borders on our row. Okay, so let's say for example you have around 13 columns. So what will happen? So let's try to add or let's try to assume that we have around we're going to add 3 more columns. So 13, no, 13, 14, 15. Okay, then let's try to go back, or it will actually automatically go down. So from the top part, there's only 12. If it's going to exceed 12, it will go down to the next row. It will automatically go down to the next row. That's one of the beauty of Bootstrap, by the way. So okay, let's try to add only 4 columns. Let's try to add 4 columns. Let's try to make it 4 columns only. Okay, so 4. So let's make it this one 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, so I also try to remove this one. Get border here. Okay, so try to add H1. Let's try to assume that this one will contain about us, about us, H1. This one will contain gallery. This one will contain about us gallery. Let's try to put mission and vision. Okay, then the last, try to put here news and events. Okay, let's try to see what happens. Okay, so we already have it here. So about us, gallery, mission and vision, news and events. Okay, let's try to adjust the font size this time because it's actually quite big. So instead of having H1, try to make it maybe H3. Okay. H3, 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 and H3. Okay. Okay, let's try to view the output. That's it. Okay, it became a little bit smaller. Okay, next. Now once we already have here, this is where the image goes. Okay, this is where the contents, the preview of the contents will go. Then let's try to add another row which will serve as our company history. Okay, so let's try to add a new row. Again, me being lazy, what I have to do is just add make it here 12. Company profile, then last try to add our footer. Okay, so let's try to see what the output will be. Maybe we no longer want to use this one. Decide to put footer. Okay. Going back here. Try to reload. Okay, so this is it. So as you've noticed, there's an image here. Then we have our sub navigation here. The company profile, wherein we can actually put maybe some uh, literature for our website. Then last we have our footer. Okay, so this is actually just a primer on how to use Bootstrap. So I'm also going to add the code. I'm going to add the code later. I'm going to post the link where you can actually download the code or this particular code. So that's it. So thank you very much, guys, and have a nice day.